Well, here we are. So this is the all-new, latest, greatest Scott Addict 40 road bike. And in this episode, I will give you the buyer's guide for this bike, and also I will tell you some likes and dislikes when it comes to this endurance road bike from Scott. So hello friends, and welcome to another episode of Cycling Insider. So you see, this 2026 Scott Addict 40 road bike has a retail price of $3,399 hard-earned US dollars. So definitely it is not a cheap bike, but this is the current kind of state of the art and reality of bike pricing. So let's first define who is this bike for. So Scott Addict platform is an endurance road bike, and in my opinion, for the majority of bike riders, this should be the default road bike, because with these endurance road bikes you have a bit more relaxed geometry, usually a bit higher stack on the bike, usually a bit shorter reach on the bike, so it's much more better designed to spend long days in the saddle on these types of bikes. Don't confuse this bike with the Scott Addict RC, where RC is basically their racing bike, much more aggressive geometry. So classical Scott Addict platform is a proper endurance road bike. So okay, this latest version of Scott Addict, of course they did some updates compared to the previous version, so we can slowly start looking at the specifications of this bike and really see what are you getting for your hard-earned money. So let's kick off with the frame and the fork on this bike. So you see, this is the HMF carbon fiber frame and also the HMF carbon fiber fork. This is not the highest level of carbon fiber that Scott can do. They also have their HMX carbon fiber, but then of course these bikes and these frames become very expensive. So as it is now, this carbon fiber frame perfectly fine, and if I'm not mistaken, Scott still offers you a 5 years warranty on their carbon fiber frames, which again is just fine, nothing special in that department, because you have some bike brands like Specialized, Trek, Giant, they will offer a lifetime warranty on the carbon fiber frames. So carbon fiber frame and the fork, 12mm through axles, both the front and the back. Also at the back you have the UDH derailleur compatible hanger, which is absolutely excellent. Here we have a press fit bottom bracket from Shimano, and also all the cables are internally routed, and you can also notice a little bit of aerodynamically optimized clues on the frame and a bit on the fork. Now, some of the big changes for this 2026 model include that they've incorporated a dropped seat stays on this bike. This has been done by Giant for many years. Also, they've changed a little bit of the layout for the layup for the seat tube and the top tube. So this is, I would almost call it a new layup for the boys. And also they've worked a lot on this new carbon fiber seat post, which can also incorporate the back light on the bike. But this specific, rear light you will have to buy separately. So these are the main kind of upgrades for the new bike. And also when it comes to this frame, I need to show you that one of the updates they did is the down tube storage. But this down tube storage, in my opinion, is a bit positioned kind of in a weird spot. It's basically all the way down to the bottom bracket. There's a little hatch which you open, and then you can put stuff inside, which I don't understand why they did it on the bottom, kind of on the almost at the bottom bracket level, because imagine now you are riding your bike in different weather conditions. Maybe it's wet, maybe it's a bit muddy on the road, so all this kind of water mud collects at the bottom, exactly here at the bottom bracket, and then you have this little hatch where you're supposed to open it, put the stuff in, take the stuff out, everything gets dirty, muddy, oily. I don't think that's a good solution. I would rather that they made a classical, down tube storage where the little hatch is on the top of the down tube. Just, I think, more kind of logical solution than this one at the bottom, almost at the bottom bracket. But it is what it is. You have a new storage here, so that's of course a big advantage. Also, this new layout for the carbon fiber frame also has a tire clearance up to 38 millimeters both front and the back, which is absolutely excellent in my opinion for an endurance road bike. I wouldn't even expect so much, tire clearance for a classical endurance road bike, but again, it's very, very nice to see it that way. Also, I have to mention that considering the previous model of this bike, they have increased the stack by a few millimeters, I believe 5 millimeters, and also they've shortened the reach of this bike by another 5 millimeters. Again, this is perfectly fine, exactly what I would like to see in the new endurance road bike. This carbon fiber seat post, as I was mentioning, it's a D-shaped carbon fiber seat post. Again, it is designed to soak up a lot of the road bumps. It can move, a few millimeters. This is all, incorporated with the design of the seat tube. So all of this area is basically for absorbing different road bumps, and this is a perfectly fine solution. A bunch of other bike manufacturers are using it. When it comes to the saddle, this is the in-house production Syncross saddle. I believe it's going to be perfectly fine. If you don't like this saddle, it's going to be very easy to replace. Nothing is proprietary here. And I have to mention here that moving on to the handlebar and the stem, I'm also glad to report that this is a classical solution, aluminum handlebar, aluminum stem. This handlebar has a bit of kind of shape, ergonomic shape, which is very nice, but again, I'm glad that nothing special proprietary here. Easy to adjust your position, easy to replace the handlebar if you want in the future. These are aluminum pieces, but in my opinion, perfectly fine. I wouldn't bother in the future, replacing any of these aluminum pieces for the handlebar and the stem. It's perfect as it is now, so totally fine in my book. So now let's talk about the group set on the bike. So what are you getting here? So this is the Shimano 105 Di2 electronic group set. So this is the 12-speed electronic group set from Shimano. Absolutely, fine, a proper workhorse from Shimano. So shifters, front mech, rear mech, everything Shimano 105 Di2 electronic group set. As you can see, double chain rings at the front, of course Shimano 105, so no cutting corners here. And these chain rings are 50-34. They are paired with the 12-speed Shimano chain, and also at the back we have a Shimano 105 cassette. So this cassette is 11-34 cassette, so you have a huge gear ratio, which is definitely something I like to see on all the bikes, this 11-34 cassette, especially on the endurance road bikes where you can easily attack any steep mountains with this beautiful, huge 11-34 cassette. When it comes to the braking system, I am also glad to report here we have Shimano 105 hydraulic disc brakes using the Shimano CL700 braking rotors, and luckily both of these braking rotors, front and the back, are 160 millimeters. Excellent choice. They didn't cut corners here, putting some tiny 140 millimeter braking rotor at the back. This is what you want to see, 160 front and the back. Good heat dissipation, good stopping power, exactly what you want to see on this type of the bike. Now let's talk about the wheels and tires. So the tires on this bike are the Schwalbe 1, 34mm tires front and the back. Again, excellent in my opinion. 34mm huge air volume, much smoother bike ride. And definitely in the future, if you destroy these tires and replacing them with some other brand, definitely stick to 34 or even go higher, because the frame and the fork can take up to 38mm tires. So absolutely excellent, no complaints here. And I'll just mention that I'm not sure if these tires are set up tubeless out of the box, probably not. So you will probably need to set it up yourself or your local bike mechanic. And when it comes to this wheel set, so this is this Syncross RP 2.0 wheel set. So it is a classical aluminum wheel set from Syncross. If you are buying this on the open market, the price can be something like 350 British pounds, euros, dollars, or I always see it on a discount. For example, now you can get it for like 260 British pounds. Aluminium classical wheel set, 24 millimeters internally. Also using the 28 spokes front and the back. When it comes to the hubs, these are the Syncros own hubs with seal cartridge bearings, and I will just mention the rear hub has a 3-pole system, so I'm thinking this is probably based on some kind of DT Swiss internals system. 12mm through axles front and the back, and total weight of this wheel set approximately 1,720 grams. So pretty nice workhorse of a wheel set in my opinion. Of course, if you are thinking of upgrading your wheel set in the future, then definitely you would be looking at something on the carbon fiber wheel sets, but those wheel sets can easily set you back, I would say, $1,000 no problem, $1,200, but then of course you can easily drop the weight of the wheel set by 300-400 grams from this wheel set. So it is always a bit of a trade-off what I'm really looking for, but out of the box I would definitely ride this wheel set until it falls apart and then think about upgrading anything on this wheel set, even on this bike. So all in, one more thing I forgot to mention, weight of the bike. So size medium, the weight of the bike is approximately 9 kilograms. I'm not so worried about that, because the whole point of this bike is to be endurance, long days in the saddle, comfortable. So these 9 kilos in this configuration is perfectly fine. When you look at the competition, everything is in this range of, I would say, 8.5 to 9 kilos, even some of them more than 9 kilos, so this is absolutely perfectly fine. So in a summary, this Scott Addict 40 endurance road bike, which has a retail price of $3,400, I definitely have more likes than dislikes about this bike. I mean, when I'm thinking about some of the dislikes, it's very hard to point out anything special. Only small thing I can mention here is that I wish that the wheel set, it is an aluminum wheel set as it is from Syncros. Maybe if it is a little bit deeper wheel set than what it is now, just so you can get a bit more aerodynamic advantage. But except from that, they've really done a good job. This down tube storage, okay, not something that I like in this instance, because the hatch, the little door, is almost at the bottom bracket level, so lots of water and dirt will probably collect here. If they put it on the classical position at the down tube, top of the down tube, I think it would be a neater solution. But okay, this is a small complaint when I look at the whole package of this bike, and I believe it's a very good job from Scott with this newest Addict 40. And definitely, if you are in the market for an endurance road bike, you have to check this Scott Addict 40. And also don't forget that you can always negotiate the bike price. Just be nice and negotiate nicely. Cheers.